Eagles game. What's going on, y'all? I'm back again. Today I'm gonna put my video. I'm gonna talk about the secondary, the issues, what we need to upgrade. I'm gonna go over the stats of the guys we targeting and everything else. Tuning into the Rose Bowl, watching this kid Mariota and Jameis Winston. Oregon spanking these guys, man, and it looks to me more and more like the chances got even slimmer to get Mariota as good as he's been playing today. But anyway, that topic is for another time. Yeah, Oregon's winning 59-20, so this game's pretty much over. But I'm gonna get into that another time. Today we're gonna talk about the secondary, man, and I hear a lot of people, man. I posted on my page. I was gonna do some logic, whereas I would pair safety tandems, cornerback tandems, and put like if I put up a safety tandem, I was gonna put two cornerbacks. I did one picture and I said, read the question and just answer. But I put Cam Chancellor and Malcolm Jenkins and said, "What our secondary would be better with Williams, Fletcher, Chancellor, and Jenkins." I just wanted to see where we stood on, is safety more important to upgrading secondary or is cornerback? And as soon as somebody said it's Chancellor free agent, then I just deaded it. It was done because it gives me a headache when people don't. So I just left it alone and I'm deciding to do this video now. But I guess the cornerbacks made fans pissed off enough that they just want to upgrade at the cornerback position, which I can't say I blame them. I mean, fan frustration comes many different. It comes in many different at many different levels. Like me, I'm more frustrated with Nate Allen and Bradley Fletcher. A lot of people more frustrated with just our cornerbacks. They think if we get two good cornerbacks, our safeties won't matter. But anyway, that's what I'm doing this video for, so we can get into it. And to start things off, I want Carey to play his last year here. Restructure his contract or not, I don't know. But honestly, I think that they're probably going to release a few guys like Bradley Fletcher can walk, Nate Allen can walk. They free agents. Trent Cole, Kerry Williams, Brandon Graham is a free agent. Macklin is a free agent. So whatever the front office decides to do, I don't know. So I'll let that play out. But now let's talk about this secondary. On the season, a lot of people said our secondary was bad. They claim Kerry Williams get burnt too much. Nate Allen get burnt. Bradley Fletcher get burnt too much. Now, at the beginning of the year, everybody was frustrated with Nate Allen a lot. Said Nate Allen wasn't playing. He's not a good safety player over top. Now, Nate Allen gets 4 interceptions and has a better second half of the season. And everybody's saying bring back Nate Allen. Now, Kerry Williams had a better second half of the season. But fans don't really pay attention to, like, stats if they don't blow you away. Like, a cornerback that might give up two catches for 20 yards in a game, but no interceptions, no fumbles, barely no tackles. Fans won't pay attention to that. They'll pay attention to a safety that got burnt or whatever once or twice in the game. But if he gets an interception, it seems like it's okay. But a lot of fans don't pay attention to what's really going on in the game. Now, as far as secondary go, honestly, I looked up a couple guys that we probably can sign and everything, but just let me break down the secondary discrepancy people might not get. We signed Malcolm Jenkins as a free safety. Nate Allen won the starting safety role. Now, free safety is usually the slimmer guy that can move faster and play deeper and has the better instincts and coverage. The strong safety usually plays close to the run because he's a bigger guy, a bigger built guy. As you can see, Nate Allen is built bigger a little bit than Malcolm Jenkins is, but not really. But you get what I'm trying to say. We start the season, and my question to you guys is this: if on all of these deep balls where you seen Nate Allen involved, maybe Nate Allen was late on the play, maybe Nate Allen was late on the coverage, and they blew past the whole secondary and scored. Answer me why when we signed Malcolm Jenkins to free safety, why was Nate Allen always the deep man in coverage? I'm gonna explain that to you in a minute. A lot of them plays, like I said, if you got a strong safety tandem back there, it'll eliminate a lot of um coverages where the cornerbacks gets beat because your safety has great enough instincts to react onto that play. Now the Seattle Seahawks got Richard Sherman, they got Earl Thomas, they got Cam Chancellor, they got Byron Maxwell. They probably got the best four-man tandem in the NFL. So even though you got Richard Sherman, who argues that he's the best corner in the league, and it can be argued that he is, you still have the best free safety in the league, and you still have the best strong safety in the league playing in the secondary with him. You can't put mediocre guys behind cornerbacks and expect your secondary to be a shutdown secondary. Now my point is this. Cornerbacks are responsible for wide receivers mainly, but that's in man coverage. In zone coverage, it's not about who's responsible for who, it's who's responsible for where. And if you look at a lot of these plays where our corners got burnt deep and Nate Allen was always late in the coverage, that's usually zone coverage. Man coverage is when you running with your guy side by side, man to man. Zone coverage is when you're leading your receiver to a certain spot on the field, and that other man has to be held accountable for that spot if the receiver catches the ball, the tight end catches the ball, whoever. So I'm gonna break down two plays to y'all, two different games, but when Jenkins was the deep man, and when Nate Allen was the deep man. Now look at the John Brown touchdown. Now Carey was just as much accountable as John Brown. He could have led him a little bit more to the inside, but he pretty much ran between him. Nate Allen reacted late. Carey was already beat. John Brown gets the touchdown. Now, the 55-yard completion to Deshaun Jackson wasn't a touchdown, but it was a completion to Deshaun Jackson in the Washington game we just played. Now, on that play, Nate Allen wasn't the deep man. You had Malcolm Jenkins back deep. Now, this is what happened. They take off. Deshaun Jackson running with Bradley Fletcher. Pierre Garçon running with Kerry Williams. Connor Barwin is running with Alfred Morris, I believe. Alfred Morris comes out of the backfield. He had Connor Barwin beat in the middle. He had a step on him. So Jenkins reacted to that. That was the proper reaction. The free safety's instincts. You're supposed to take on. Bradley Fletcher at this time wasn't really beat by Deshaun. He more so beat Deshaun afterwards. No pass rush got there. So he beat Bradley Fletcher deep. That's how you play free safety. Now, like I said, my question is, why was Jenkins not the deep man on all of these deep completions and everything where Nate Allen you seen get burnt or he let the cornerback get burnt? I'm going to explain to you why. In the second game of the season, Michael Kendricks, he went down with an injury. Now, this is why you didn't see Jenkins deep a lot. Because when Jenkins went down with an injury, now everybody knows Michael Kendricks takes on the tight end all the time. That's been his role since he got here. Coverage against mainly the tight ends. But Michael Kendricks is the fastest linebacker and our best linebacker in coverage. We don't have a guy on the team that can replace Michael Kendricks as far as coverage skills. Now when Jenkins went down, you had D'Amico Ryans, you had Connor Barwin, Trent Cole at linebacker. You had to bring in Emmanuel Acho and Casey Matthews to pretty much cover what Kendrick's role was. But what a lot of people don't understand is it was one play. I forgot which game it was, but Casey Matthews got beat deep by a tight end. Now, this is the reason why you never seen Jenkins deep. Chip Kelly knows and Billy Davis knows that there's no linebacker that can do what Kendricks did in coverage. Nate Allen is supposed to be the predominant coverage man that moves up and covers what Kendricks did, but Nate Allen is suspect in coverage too. If you put Nate Allen against the best tight end, we would get burnt in the intermediate passing game all game. His coverage skills is lacking. So your best bet would be to do what? Let your next best man in coverage play the intermediate passing game. You try your hardest to eliminate those third down passes and those key passes to tight ends. You move Michael Kendricks up there. I mean, not Michael Kendricks, Malcolm Jenkins. You move Malcolm Jenkins in basically strong safety / Kendricks role. Now, it it was working pretty good, and a lot of people were saying Nacho and Casey Matthews. Now don't get me wrong, Kendricks didn't play every down in Kendrick's role. Sometimes you gotta trust, your guys. Sometimes it was Nate Allen, sometimes it was Matthews, sometimes it was Acho. You had to trust them guys, but Kendricks, I'm just explaining to y'all the main reason he wasn't deep in coverage. Now, you get by with Kendricks being injured, and the Arizona games come up, Kendricks comes back. Now, he played a limited role, so he wasn't 100% to get back to his regular role. So, he didn't really play that many snaps as he normally would, so you still keep the same rotation going. Now, in the Arizona game, who got beat for the John Brown touchdown? Kerry Williams, Nate Allen. Now, Nate Allen did the same exact thing he did in the Washington game where Deshaun Jackson beat them for the long touchdown that he did in the Arizona game. He bit on the quarterback, and he didn't react fast enough by the time he reacted to John Brown, because it was Kerry's job to lead him to the inside. Like I said, it was zone coverage. A lot of times people think Kerry Williams and Fletcher is getting burnt just completely. It's also zone coverage that's accountable for that too. So when John Brown, by the time Nate Allen reacted to John Brown, again with his instincts that I can't stand, John Brown was already past him. He was already past Kerry Williams. Now, one thing I won't say is that no teammate will bash the other teammate. You know what I'm saying? So they just got to deal with the backlash from the fans. And that's what happened there. Now, like I said, the Houston game. Now you got Kendricks back, basically at 100%. And you got D'Amico Ryans goes down with an injury. So now, for that little bit of time, you actually let everybody play their regular roles. You lose your defensive captain and the guy who calls the plays on defense. So now, you lose your middle linebacker. You don't trust Casey Matthews and Emmanuel Acho enough to call the defense. Barring they do call some defensive plays, like they told everybody. They said Acho and everybody would be playing a role in calling the defensive plays. But predominantly it was Michael Kendricks who basically took over D'Amico's role. So again, you eliminate Michael Kendricks from doing what he does best against the tight ends. You got to move Malcolm Jenkins back to the same spot that he was playing the whole time he was doing what Kendricks did. So this is just the reason why Malcolm Jenkins was the free safety, but he never really was the deep man. It was always Nate Allen getting burnt back there and it made it look like the cornerbacks were just flat out terrible. And this is why I say having a strong safety tandem is the way to start when you thinking of a secondary. Because you can have a half-decent cornerback with the best safety in the NFL. His instincts will make up for a lot of slack. And a lot of these plays, I believe if we would have had Michael Kendricks deep on a lot of these plays, it would have been a different type of outcome on some of them. Like, he would have been able to eliminate some of them. But even against Seattle, he was susceptible in coverage. He was on the slot receiver, Baldwin, when he caught the touchdown pass. In the Dallas game, he was he took an L to Jason Witten in coverage because he was on him mostly. Like I said, playing the same role that Kendricks would play, because now Kendricks is playing the role of D'Amico, in the running back. And we didn't have a drastic drop off when Kendricks did that. Now, that'll lead me to another point. We might want to bring D'Amico Ryans back. That way Kendricks will play his role and Jenkins can actually play deep safety. But that remains to be seen. I don't know what they're going to do with that. But that's just my explanation of why a lot of fans don't understand. How you the strong safety, but you're playing the deep ball. Which is your weakness. Because they trusted Jenkins more in intermediate coverage, playing Michael Kendricks' role. Now, I'm going to get into these stats of a couple guys that I know Eagles Nation and Bird Gang and everybody want us to take a look at and look in the signing. So first we're gonna talk about the stats of the team. Okay, Nate Allen, in his career, 323 tackles, 44 assisted tackles, 4 sacks, 10 interceptions, 159 yards on those interceptions. I don't know why he doesn't have a forced fumble. I believe he forced that fumble, forced the fumble this year and recovered it. So I don't know why that's not there. No touchdowns. This year, 62 tackles, 4 assisted tackles, 1 sack, 4 interceptions, 45 yards. I'm not moved by his 4 interceptions in the second half of the year. Because what he did on those interceptions was play the deep ball and play over the top. That's how he got him. If Nate Allen would be playing like that his whole career in Philly, the secondary outcome would be a whole lot different. But it wasn't. So I'm not really moved by his second half stats. He always seems to get stronger during the second half. We need a safety that's going to be solid all year. Okay, Kyrie Williams. His career, 250 tackles, 21 assisted, 2 sacks, 9 interceptions, 105 yards on those interceptions, and 1 pick six. I like Carey. Carey's physical. I say this all the time. Carey's physical. He's the type of cornerback you need, but you need a safety over the top. Because physical coverage comes with a lot of whiffs at the line of scrimmage. You might get beat a lot, you know what I mean? But above all, you don't take no shit from no other team. You don't take no shit from no other receiver, and you pretty much got the heart to... And his coverage skills ain't really terrible or bad. Like, I'm just saying, the way he plays, you're gonna want a good safety over the top. Like, that's how he won a Super Bowl, with a good defense, a good secondary. Like, even if he's just a product of it. Now, Bradley Fletcher, on the other hand, I believe that half the touchdowns he gave up would have been eliminated had we had a better safety over the top for him. But Bradley Fletcher, he's not Kyrie Williams. Like, he had that fight with Macklin in training camp and everything, but he's not a physical type guy that you really... He's not like Kyrie Williams. He don't have the attitude and the feistiness and everything. But I believe you need one guy like that, because if you can lead the NFL in penalties and still win a Super Bowl, you need a physical guy. And he's the heart and soul of our defensive secondary, if you ask me. Brandon Boykin, for his career, 120 tackles, 6 assisted, 1 sack, 7 interceptions, 136 yards, 1 pick six. Now, mainly, most of those stats came last year when he had the 6 interceptions and everything. I believe he deserves a shot on the outside, but at the same time, I believe that if he doesn't pan out on the outside, fans will be trashing him just as much. So he's more of a be careful what you ask for type player, but I believe he deserves a shot, but not because of what he can do in the slot. He just deserves a shot because he's earned it based on the way he's playing with limited time. It's kind of like Vinny Curry and Brandon Graham. They do pretty damn good in limited time. So if anybody deserves a shot on the outside, it's him. He has earned it. And it ain't just because of what he does in the slot. I believe he deserves a shot. Nolan Carroll, for his career, 165 tackles, 11 assisted, 3 sacks, 5 interceptions, 25 yards return on those interceptions. This year he didn't have any of those. He just had 31 tackles. But he also played a more dime linebacker role. Pretty much limited role. But I believe this is our guy on the outside. Now, if you're going to bring back Kyrie Williams, I believe you should put Nolan Carroll on the outside. He did have a bad game against the Giants, but when you play a limited role at the cornerback position, you need a little bit of time to get like in the flow of everything. And you can't just throw a guy in the cornerback and just like, you know what I'm trying to say. Bradley Fletcher, he's pretty much gonna walk in free agency. But 280 tackles, 22 assisted, 1 sack, 8 interceptions, 107 yards on those interceptions, 1 touchdown. I think he had that pick 6 against Cam Newton this year. He's a guy that's just going to walk, so, I mean, there's no reason to really get into him. Malcolm Jenkins, now, for his career, 439 tackles, 69 assisted, 4.5 sacks, 9 interceptions, 276 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So I guess he had 3 pick sixes in his career. 1 pick 6 this year. Jenkins is going to be here, but he needs to play free safety, not strong safety. Not role of strong safety. He needs to play free safety. He needs to play next to a strong safety that's pretty good against the run. So you can put him back there in deep coverage like he's supposed to be. Now, 2 guys that I hear a lot of the gang talking about signing in free agency. And one guy is Brandon Flowers. Brandon Flowers is shorter than Brandon Boykin. He's 28 years old, been in the NFL for 7 years. Now, this year he had 52 tackles, 3 interceptions. For his career, he has 426 tackles, 52 assisted, 2 sacks, 101 passes defense, 20 interceptions, 388 yards off those interceptions, 3 pick sixes, which he had, I think, he didn't have any this year. 3 pick sixes for his career, 4 forced fumbles, and 5 fumble recoveries. Now, if you bring Brandon Flowers here, now this is something weird that I'm just going to throw off the top of my head. You bring Brandon Flowers here, okay, yeah. He can play the outside. But this is the tricky thing about that. He's 5'9". So if you bring him here, he's more going to be a guy that plays the Brandon Boykin role. If you move Boykin to the outside or if you trade Boykin. I heard something weird like, should the Eagles trade Brandon Boykin? So if we did get Flowers in free agency, 9 times out of 10 he'll probably play the slot corner. Even though he's probably good enough to play the outside corner too. 5'9" is real short though, and I know Chip Kelly likes tall cornerbacks. But I don't really see him coming here unless he's going to play Boykin role when we trade Boykin or put Boykin on the outside. That's just how that is. Byron Maxwell. Now this is the guy I want us to go after. For his career, 82 tackles, 7 assisted, no sacks, 6 interceptions, 29 yards off interceptions. No touchdowns, no forced fumbles. He plays a good role in that Seattle defense. Now, my thing about that is he could be a product. Could be a product of that defense than Richard Sherman. A lot of people say that about Sherman, and I don't understand that. Byron Maxwell probably is more of a product of that defense than Sherman is. Now, if he did come here, he could play a nice role because, above all, he will be a physical cornerback, just like Kerry Williams. And if you got physical cornerbacks, and he learned a lot from that Seattle defense, trust me. So, his instincts, his physicality, and everything he learned from being in that Seahawks defense, even though I think they might re-sign him, but he will be the best option to bring here. Because he's 6'1", he's 207, he's 26. So he's bigger than Brandon Flowers. So I would probably make a run at him above all. Now, as far as safety, Devin McCourty, he's a free safety with 388 combined tackles, 69 assisted, 1 sack, 17 interceptions in his career. He has the instincts to play deep ball. That's the kind of guy you need on the Eagles. Because his instincts would help. His instincts would help our secondary, our cornerbacks a lot. He's the kind of guy we need back there if you're going to have a secondary that's playing as physical and playing press coverage. You need a guy with his instincts back there. Now, Kareem Jackson. He said he wants to finish his career in Houston. So, but in his career, 277 tackles, 33 assisted, 10 interceptions, 191 yards, and he has 1 pick 6 in his career. He's a guy that can play both sides of the field. Pretty much, what do you call them guys? He's pretty much versatile enough to play both sides of the field. So We might can make a run at him, but the fact that he said he wants to stay in Houston, he might re-sign there. But his 10 interceptions will help a lot here. I mean, he's a turnover guy. He had 3 this regular season. Now, Brandon Spikes, the guy that we said we should make a run at for inside linebacker. Now, his career stats: 340 tackles, 92 assisted, 2 sacks, 2 interceptions. Now, Kendricks already showed you he could play the role of D'Amico. But what I'm saying is, if we don't bring back D'Amico Ryans, Chip already said he wanted D'Amico back. So, if we don't bring back D'Amico Ryans, he'll be a guy that we can fit next to Kendricks. But I will still let Kendricks play D'Amico role and let him more so. Then again, he's a big dude, so he might play D'Amico's role while Kendricks get back. If you let him play the role of captain, Kendrick can get back to guarding tight ends, and you can keep Malcolm Jenkins deep. You don't have to shuffle the lineup. Alpati is a guy we should go after if we don't bring back Ty Harrimans. Now, Trey Waynes that everybody's talking about. His career stats at Michigan State: 68 tackles, 30 assisted. 98 tackles, 30 assisted. 2 tackles for a loss, 1.5 sacks, 6 interceptions. 5 passes defense. Now, he doesn't have a pass defense this year, but he did have 5 last year. The guy I want us to move up and draft, Landon Collins. Now, Landon Collins, 113 solo tackles, 60 assisted tackles. He doesn't have a sack. 5 interceptions. He had 1 pick six in 2013. 6 passes defense. 3 forced fumbles. That's the guy I want in Philly. Because strong safety, free safety, Malcolm Jenkins and Landon Collins. And Landon Collins, he's projected to be like a top 5, top 10 pick. So we probably won't get him. We will definitely have to move up to get him. But that's just me wishing upon a star. You know what I'm saying? I seen the highlights on this kid. He's a damn good strong safety. And I think you can start building a secondary with him and Malcolm Jenkins. The kid JR from Florida State, 109 tackles, 74 solo, 35 assisted, 2.5 tackles for a loss, 1 sack, 4 interceptions, 1 pick six, which was in 2013, 8 passes defense, 1 forced fumble. I don't really know too much about this kid, but he should be around about our 20th pick if we don't move up. Him and Trey Waynes. So if we're gonna get cornerbacks, we gotta pick out of them two, our best bet, or even this kid from Oregon that everybody's talking about. He did have the knee injury and everything, so they said he might fall to number 20. I don't see no reason why Chip Kelly wouldn't pick him up. Chip Kelly loves his Oregon players. But his statistics, he does punt and kick returns, but as far as defense, 164 solo tackles, 80 assisted, 244 tackles altogether. I heard people saying he's ranked as the best senior cornerback in the draft. 5.5 tackles for a loss in his career. 9 interceptions. He has 1 pick six, 34 passes defense, and 8 forced fumbles. So you never know, man. My best bet, my off the top of my head, my tandem I want here: Byron Maxwell, Kerry Williams, Landon Collins, and Malcolm Jenkins. Now, if you notice, I got a free agent in there and a draftee in there. So if we could sign a free agent like Byron Maxwell, we can move up in the draft and get Landon Collins. Now, on the other hand, you got Earl Wolf coming back. People saying re-sign Nate Allen. I would re-sign him if I could as a backup because I would go after a safety that's going to start and actually then like say you get Trey Waynes. Let's say if Carey doesn't come back, you draft Trey Waynes, Nolan Carroll, Boykin, sign a free agent safety, McCourty, next to Jenkins. Now, if you draft the kid from Oregon, he probably won't play this first season. But then you got a guy like Jalen Watkins. A lot of people said move Nolan Carroll to safety. I wouldn't do that. Let Nolan Carroll play his strongest position. But my ideal tandem for the secondary, let Boykin play his last year at the slot. Nolan Carroll, Carey Williams, Landon Collins. This is if we can't get Maxwell. Landon Collins. So it's a whole bunch of things we can do to that secondary. So that's just my take on it, man. Like, but I mean, I think I covered everything in here. My videos always turn out to be very long, so. But I think for the most part, I did cover everything I needed to cover as far as the secondary was concerned. And I think after this video, which I explained, I think people will get a better understanding as to why, like, I feel the way I feel about our cornerbacks with the safeties that we have. But that's it, man. Y'all can check the video out, comment below. Let me know what y'all think, man. Again, thanks for subscribing. Shout out to my Instagram fam, we_bleed_green. Twitter fan, we bleed green 84. I bleed Eagles green is the Facebook page. I mean, get at me. Let me know what y'all think, man. Love y'all. Peace.
Out the door, I'm about to go ham. Hard as a motherfucker, let these niggas know.